So I'm going to do the final 29 and 30 and then 35 and 36, which are talking about the population standard deviation and hypothesis test. I call them the Z test because you use the Z scores and the Z test statistic to solve it. I'm going to use the calculator. If you don't have the calculator, remember you can solve it using the method that was given to you in WebAssign where you use the tables, but I'm just going to show you how to, if you can get the calculator or borrow one, it might be easier. So question 29, a random sample of 64 second graders, and you see I'm highlighting what's important, and a certain school district are given a standardized mathematics skills test. The sample mean is 51.24. Assume that the standard deviation for the population is 15. Okay, so that is my population standard deviation. The average nationwide test score is 50. So I'm gonna put that there. Okay. The school superintendent wants to know whether second graders in her school have greater math scores than the nationwide average. Find the p-value. Okay, so I need to do my, hypotheses. Okay, so for this one, again, I'm going to use the mean symbol. Let me do this, insert the mean. So I'm going to insert the mean here, and I'm going to do it here too. Okay. All right, so she wants to know if they have greater math scores. So that's important because that's greater than or above, and I'm going to put this, greater than 50, because she thinks they're above the nationwide average score. Don't worry about the sample stuff right now. Just worry about the average mean, the population mean, and the direction. Okay, so then that means this one equals 50. And again, you may see it as, hold on. I always talk about this, mean is less than or equal to 50. Okay, but for what eCore wants you to learn, you're just going to do the equal 50. Okay, or I'm going to put this in big or that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my calculator. Oops. And I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to go to stats. I'm going to go over to test, and I'm going to go to Z test. I'm going to scroll over to stats because I'm going to put in statistics. All right, so the mean, the average mean is 50. The population standard deviation is 15. And where am I getting all this? I'm just getting it from the problem. It's everything I highlighted in blue. The sample mean is 51.24. And then the sample size was 64. Okay, and then my alternative hypothesis is it's greater than. So I do this, hit enter. Okay, and then I'm going to do calculate. So my p-value, you can see it here. Let me do this. I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to cut it, edit, copy, because I'm going to put it here. All right, so there's what I got from the computer. It shows that my mean is greater than 50, which goes with my alternative. My p-value, or z, is 0.661. That's what you get from that's how you go look for it in the table. And then the p-value is 0.2541999. So if I round that to 4 decimal places, it's going to be, let me do this, the answer is 0.2542. Okay, so that's my answer. That's how I got what I wanted. All right. So let me put this in yellow. Okay. All right. But the next part of this says, recall the previous question where the school superintendent wanted to know whether second graders in her school have greater math scores. All right. So we're going to use the level of significance at 0.5. All right, so I'm going to do what I kind of did before. I'm going to copy this again. So you don't have to do this much work, but I'm just doing it because I want to make sure you understand. Okay, so my p-value was, p-value was 0. And if I go back up here and check it, 2542, 2542. Okay, and I'm going to compare that to my level of significance. So my p-value versus the level of significance. Okay, all right, so 2542 is greater than 0.05, so we fail to reject the null. The HO. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So I'm going to fail to reject, which means kind of like it means it's true. I mean, for this, we're going to say it means it's true. There's some more stuff going on behind the scenes. Okay, so I found this one was correct. Okay, but remember, this is what the principal wanted to say. So I'm going to say not true. So I'm not supporting her claim that this is true. Okay, so I'm going to say there's not enough evidence to support the claim that they have greater math scores. Okay, because remember, this is what she believed, is that they had higher math scores. We found out it wasn't true, so there's not enough evidence to support that it was true. So that's how you do that one. All right, let's go do 35 and 36 while we're on a roll, and we'll just finish this. Okay. Suppose the mean prices of a house in Denver for 2008 was $225.3 thousand. A random sample of 49 houses sold in 2010 had a mean price of $2,000.2 thousand. A real estate firm wants to test to see the mean price in 2010 differs from the mean price in 2008. Assume the population standard deviation is 140. Okay, so what do I have? All right, so here's all my information about my sample. Okay. Here's what they want to know. They want to know if it differs, so that gives me my symbol. The population standard deviation is 140, and here was the population mean. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do the HO, and HI. All right, I'm going to push this down. Okay. All right, so I'm going to insert my symbols, insert mean, and then insert the mean here. Okay. So if I say it differs, that means that they're not the same. So I'm going to use the symbol of not equals, okay? So I'm going to put that there, not equal. It doesn't equal to 5.3. So then this one makes my null equal to 225.3. And again, why am I putting the 225.3 in there? Because it's talking about the population. All right, so again, I'm going to go use my calculator. And if you don't have the calculator, you're going to use the information and solve it so that you get your Z so you can find your P. All right, so here we go. We're going to go here. I'm going to go back to stats. I'm going to go over to test. I'm going to do Z to test, keep stats, but now it's going to be 225.3 for the mean. The population standard deviation is 140. The sample mean is 200.2. Sample size was 49. Okay, and then I'm going to pick not equal here. I'm going to hit enter, and it blinks at me, so that's how I know I've got it to work. So I hit calculate. All right, and again, I'm going to grab this so I can put this in my thing. Okay, I'm going to grab it, edit, copy. So I go down here, and I'm going to copy it. Okay, so then I've got, as you can see here, again, my alternative matches this right here because that's important. And then I've got my Z value, and then I've got my P value. So my P value is 0.20947, or the answer is 0.2095. Okay, so that's my answer, and you can see below it I have it. So okay. Again, I'm just showing you where I get my answers from, so it makes better sense. Okay, so let's go to number 36. Oops. It wants me to go ahead and use the p-value that I used right here And I'm going to do, okay, so can I conclude based on the 0.05 level of significance? Okay, so I'm going to grab this. Oops. Okay, I'm going to grab that. All right, I'm going to go here. Oops, got that. All right, so my p-value is 0.02095 and level of significance. Oops, sorry, my spelling is atrocious tonight, is 0.05. Okay, so I'm going to compare the two. Okay, so 0.2095 is greater than 0.05. So because it's greater than, I fail, oops, to reject the null. Okay, right, because remember, if it's greater, I fail to reject the null. Okay, so that means that this is true and this is false. But remember, this was what they were questioning. They were looking at this one to see how we could interpret that. But because it's false, that means there's not enough evidence to support it. So that gives me my right here. There's not enough evidence to support that the mean prices of the houses in 2010 differ from the mean prices in 2008. And again, it has to do with they're not that different, and that's what they're looking at. All right, I hope that helped.